faces after practice too.
They haven't even had a chance to really practice outside because it's been so cold, and then they're gonna go out. It's gonna be like summer.
90 degrees out there.
Yeah. So no, shot me. It's sharp myself there.
800. That's a race.
It's fine. It's lower. I got our office. I like it.
I know those that's what they do miss.
Sometimes when I'm switching it out, this is driving sales assistance.
Yeah.
So no, it's
It's like
first drivers.
Every meet is like
So
12 rounds of 100.
Yeah.
Or hurdles, you know, we start with hurdles and then it's 100 and then
Good evening. I'm calling the Monday, May 9th, 2022 Planning Commission meeting to order. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, first item on the agenda is the approval of tonight's agenda. Do I have any requests for changes this evening? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
All right, moved by Commissioner Grote. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A second, Commissioner Sherwood. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, agenda is approved. Moving on, we have the minutes from the meeting held on Monday, April 25th, 2022. Any requests for changes or concerns about the minutes from the meeting? All right, entertaining a motion to approve the minutes.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve the Planning Commission meeting minutes dated April 25th, 2022.
All right, a motion, Commissioner Farr. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Gooding. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Going on, we have one public hearing this evening. It's a variance request number 2022-01, location 6939 Barberry Lane. This is a request for a variance to construct a detached garage with a 13-foot front yard setback. City code requires a 30-foot front yard setback. Will the proponent of the project please come up? Good evening.
Good evening.
If you would.
Thanks for being here.
Thank
my name
you.
is Jacob Barker, and I live at 6939 Barberry Lane.
Great. Would you mind spelling that for the record, please? Your last name?
Barker.
Great. Great.
And then I do have a PowerPoint presentation
Sounds great.
for that.
Great.
So should start there. So obviously the variance request for the detached garage. There we go. So this is the proposed location. This is the school side view, so Peterborg Street, looking into the yard. So one thing is we're on the corner lot and we have two front yards, which is the problem that we're having. When we did the house construction, we do have a 24 by 24 detached existing garage. We wanted to attach and make a bigger garage, but with the setbacks that we already have, we can't really touch it. So we went into adding a secondary structure so we could have another garage in the back. Here's the proposed layout. And again, the 30 by 30 with the 18 office, that is the maximum it's going to be. So once we get it, all the lines plotted out, it's gonna match what the setbacks are, and it probably will shrink up depending on the space that we have. So I wanted to be at what the maximum would be. And you can see the 13-foot setback would match the existing garage, and then there would be a driveway entering. And then the design would fit into the houses in the neighborhood. So if this does pass, I am gonna work with an architect. I just didn't wanna put in a ton of money and have it go away. So I'm gonna work with an architect to try to, the roof lines, so I can meet that 15-foot height requirement and just have it fit within the space. So it looks like it fits. So it's not just like a garage in the middle of nowhere. So it blends in. I'm gonna work with the city, the watershed district, for the landscaping and all the runoff. Because we did work with that a little bit with Duck Lake, just so that we're not making anything worse, everything better. And this is just kind of this is all rough sketches. It's going to be painted the same as our house. It's going to tie in. There's going to be, rock on the front. So it will have an attached kind of office area in it, and that's just my own personal house office. There will be a bathroom in it, just so obviously you don't have to walk back and forth to the house. The garage will pretty much just be for storage for boat, and my truck does not fit in our current garage, so it would be a garage that I could actually fit my vehicle into. So, and again, I just wanted to have the maximum it would be. So obviously we will have the land surveyors come back and mark out all the property lines so that we do meet the 100-foot setback to the lake, the 10-foot on the side, and then match that 13-foot setback to the front. And being on the corner lot again, being on Duck Lake, we have the 100-foot from the lake, so we're just really kind of squished in this little area. And we're just trying to do the best that we can do with what we have. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions initially for Mr. Barker?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Farr.
could you put that back up on the screen, the site plan sketch that he had?
Yeah.
Thanks. Well, I guess it's in front of me now. So it looks like there's a rear door to the garage. Is that to get your boat in and out or something, or is?
I just was sketching some stuff, so there will be no rear door.
Okay.
And the front door that faces the street, that won't even be there. It'll be just a man door on the back.
Oh, okay.
And again, the architect will kind of
Yeah.
draw it so it looks nice.
Okay. I was only asking because I noticed that there's a pretty good topography change between the street side and as it rolls down to the lake.
It does
there,
slope
so
down, yep.
I didn't think you'd be able to get out the back door without a.
No, there would
big
have to
ramp
be
or
some
something.
landscaping or something, but no, there's going to be no rear door. Besides a man door that leads under to the deck, you can kind of see.
Yep.
And it is not attached to the deck or the house in any means. It is a secondary structure.
So that blue note that's on top there where it says not attached and it points to your home office and your garage, is that note supposed to mean that the office and the garage are not attached or that neither are attached to your deck?
Neither are attached to the deck.
Okay.
I just
home
wanted to
office and
make
the
that
garage.
clear that it is a detached structure.
From the deck?
From the
house.
deck, yes.
Okay.
The garage and the office are one building.
Yep,
Yeah.
got it.
And there's a neighbor, kind of over, we call it the Witchy Park behind us, that has pretty much exactly the same thing that I'm proposing.
Great.
And it looks like their setbacks, I didn't measure, but they are closer to the street.
Great. I see that you have some neighbors in the second row there, and so they may want to come up and speak to our public hearing. However, I thought I'd hear from you first. Did you have any communications with the neighbors about this project?
We did, a couple weeks ago, kind of had a little powwow in the backyard, and just kind of talked over what I was proposing.
Yep.
And that was about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yep, absolutely.
Other questions for Mr. Barker right now? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie, would you take us through the staff report, please?
Yes, sir. The request before you this evening is a variance request for a front yard setback. City code requires a 30-foot front yard setback. In this case, the frontage along Peterborg and the other street are both considered front yards. At the time that the original home site was constructed, there were different setbacks, so the existing 13-foot setback is a legal non-conforming setback. So the request is to remain consistent with that existing 13-foot setback. Staff is recommending approval of the variance because we have drafted findings that finds it consistent with the three-part test that's required by state statute, that the circumstances are unique to the property given the Duck Lake setback required by the Shoreland District, as well as the configuration of the lot. In addition, it is a reasonable use of the property and is consistent with the comprehensive plan. So staff is recommending approval of the variance request. I would like to just point out that while the applicant has provided some architectural renderings or a rough sketch of what that garage could look like, if the Planning Commission were to approve the variance, you're not approving those specific plans, you're just approving the variance to allow the 13-foot setback. All other code requirements would need to be met, including the size requirements and other building code requirements that would be reviewed at the time of building permit application. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, Julie. Questions for Julie?
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Commissioner Farr.
If you don't mind.
Of course not.
Julie, this isn't the first time we've talked about a project that's had multiple accessory buildings. Maybe a year or two ago, there was a lot way up in North Eden Prairie where there was going through a lot consolidation or something. Someone had multiple garages. Could you refresh my memory at least on, is there a maximum number of accessory structures that are allowed on a lot? And especially in the last 2 years with COVID, there seems to be a trend of work from homers. And I didn't know if there would be any special topic about accessory structures being home offices that are potentially changing our zoning ordinance.
So 2 questions in there,
There
but I'm
were,
happy
sorry.
to answer them both. So with regard to the number or size of accessory structures, city code does not have a specific maximum number of accessory structures that are allowed, but rather it's regulated by size. So 7.5% of a residential lot can be covered with either the detached structures and the attached structure. So in this case, this particular lot, 7.5% of the lot is about 1,730 square feet. And so there is an existing roughly 590 square foot garage on the site. So he roughly has about 1,150 square feet to work with. So, so he would be required, if the variance is approved tonight, he would be required to comply with that size limitation when the building permit comes in, okay? The secondary part of that question was home occupations. So the city certainly does allow home occupations, but there are criteria outlined in code that home occupations must meet. One of those conditions is that all home occupations must be carried out in the primary structure. So that information has been relayed to this applicant, and as he stated, the office space that he'd identified on the proposed plan would be for his own personal use, not part of a home occupation.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Other questions for the city? Good. This is a public hearing. If anyone would like to come forward and speak for or against this project, please do so now. Good evening. If you would state your name and spell it for the record, please.
My name is, excuse me, my name is Sandra Davis, D-A-V-I-S.
All right, Ms. Davis, would you like to go ahead and tell us what you would like?
Yes, I live to the north of the Barkers, and so that part won't affect me at all. But what I'm concerned about is the size of the structure. To me, it's like an industrial-sized building, 900 square feet. And I go and walk on walks almost every day. And when I walk by on Peterborg, I always like to look out at the water and stuff. And I would not be able to do that if this big structure were there. And that's one thing I'm concerned about. I almost wonder how it would look. It's just like another house would be wedged in between Jake's house and then the Dunphy's house. And I'm kind of wondering if that would be out of place for the neighborhood. So that's basically what my concerns are.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ms. Davis. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Would anyone else like to come forward? Okay. Not seeing anyone else coming forward. I would entertain a motion to close the public portion of this hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I move to close the public hearing.
All right, I have a motion from Commissioner Sherwood. Do I have a second to
I'll
close?
second that motion, Chair.
Seconded by Commissioner Farr. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, public hearing's closed. Further discussion? I'm sorry?
Are we free to leave?
Oh, yes, you are, yeah. Any discussion among the commissioners? Thoughts?
Well, we probably ought to discuss Ms. Davis's concern about that. I would note that it's a corner lot, and I would note that it's a corner lot, and that, certainly there's a variety of front yard exposure, or front yard frontage along the neighbor's property that offer gaps between homes and side yards, and I think that being a corner lot, I don't think there's a greater requirement for gaps between front yard and back side yard viewing necessarily. And so as long as the metric that our zoning code has about the percentage of accessory building structure as that upper limit of square footage, I think that the neighbor's free to put it wherever they want to. And I think there's obviously some limitations on setbacks and things like that. So I don't know if there's another opportunity for a relocation for the structure. So I'm fine with it where it is.
Thank you, Commissioner Farr. Other thoughts? No?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we approve the variance request number 202201 based on information outlined in the Planning Department staff report dated May 9, 22. Findings and conditions, final order 202201.
All right, I have a motion for approval from Commissioner Grote. Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
All right, I have a second from Commissioner Farr. All those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And would anyone like to abstain? Okay. All right, your approval is moved forward. Thank you, Mr. Barker, for your presentation.
Thank you.
Do I need to stay around?
No, we'll get you the paperwork.
Thank you.
Thanks. Moving on, do we have any planners reports this evening, Julie?
No, sir.
All right. Any members' reports? Entertaining a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
All right. And do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Well done.